Right up front, this isn't a panic button. It's a reality check. You've got one key absence right now, Darren Bland's out, and suddenly a lot of dominoes that were carefully stacked start to wobble. I get why the Cowboys are looking at their own room first. Continuity matters. Guys who have been in the system all summer understand the terminology. They know the coach's call-outs, and they've practiced with the starters. That familiarity isn't nothing. It's often the difference between a coverage that looks like a clinic and one that turns into a busted play on national TV. But here's the blunt part. Sometimes familiarity alone isn't enough. When you lean on the next man up, you accept that there will be a learning curve, and in the NFL, a single misstep can be the play that costs a game. So the real problem isn't just Bland's absence, it's the chain reaction it creates. Trevon Diggs was supposed to be eased back in, ramped up week by week, especially coming off the work he had to get healthy. Now you're forced to accelerate that timeline. That means more snaps, more high-stress reps, and more opportunities for fatigue or re-aggravation. In short, what the Cowboys wanted to manage carefully now becomes something they have to react to immediately, and that's a coaching and personnel headache. You also have to think about matchups. Right now, the early slate is full of games you should be using to build momentum, and if you start losing those because you didn't invest in a short-term veteran insurance piece, you put yourself behind the 8 ball when the tougher stretch arrives. I know what you're thinking. Why sign someone off the street? They don't know our system. That's fair. But there's nuance. A veteran like Stephon Gilmore, for example, wouldn't have to be a full-time starter. He could be an insurance policy, a mentor on the sideline, a situational piece who plugs holes and slows down the big plays that beat inexperienced guys. You're buying not just coverage, but experience in the locker room. And listen, I'm not telling you the Cowboys need to throw money around recklessly. I'm saying prioritize depth and protect your all-pro level talent. Every playoff exit in recent memory shows teams that were worn down by injuries and thin depth. That's a pattern, not luck. Quick poll for you. Would you rather the Cowboys sign a veteran corner for depth this week or roll with in-house guys and hope they hold up? Vote in the comments. Sign a veteran or trust in-house. Also, if you want to help this channel keep bringing these takes, hit subscribe and help us push toward 16,000 subscribers, and smash the like button if you're feeling the urgency. Here's the thing about the next man up mantra. It sounds great in theory, right? Everyone likes to say it, but in reality, it's more complicated than just plugging a new name into the lineup. Football is a game of precision and timing. Each player relies on those around him to execute their assignment perfectly, and when you insert someone who hasn't had live game reps in this system, even a small miscommunication can become a big play for the opponent. Think about a corner who misreads a route or a safety who drifts a step too late. That's literally a difference of 1 or 2 plays that can swing a game. And right now, the Cowboys don't have the luxury of easing a guy into the lineup. The schedule is about to throw some winnable games at you, and missing opportunities now makes the tougher stretch later even more brutal. The backup guys are talented, sure, but experience matters. It's one thing to run the system in practice, and another to execute under stadium lights with 60,000 screaming fans and a QB reading you like a book. Every NFL team knows how to target the weakest link, and when that link is a player who hasn't taken live reps in a while, they will find it. It's just a matter of time. That's why the Cowboys need to think about short-term fixes. You're not just filling a spot, you're protecting your stars and giving the team the best chance to maintain momentum. Now, here's a point a lot of fans overlook. Depth isn't just a backup, it's a buffer. Injuries happen, situations change mid-game, and having a veteran ready to step in, even for a few snaps, can prevent a small problem from turning into a major deficit. Every week counts in the early part of the schedule, and right now, every single win is critical. Lose a couple of winnable games. Because your depth wasn't ready, suddenly, the path to the playoffs gets a lot steeper. I want to hear from you. Who on the Cowboys bench do you trust to step in right now? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't forget to vote yes or no. Do you think the coaching staff fully trusts their in-house depth? Yes or no? And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Injury updates and roster moves are happening fast, and you want to be the first to know. Let's really zoom in on Trevon Diggs because this is where the entire situation gets tricky. When the Cowboys mapped out the season, the plan for Diggs was simple. Ease him back in, limit his snaps early, and make sure he's at his best when the games really start to matter down the stretch. That's how you manage a star corner coming off recovery. You don't overload him right away. But with Bland sidelined, that careful plan is getting tossed out the window. Suddenly, Diggs has to shoulder more snaps, more responsibility, and face more top receivers than expected this early. That creates a massive risk versus reward scenario. On one hand, having Diggs on the field more often gives the Cowboys their best chance to win right now. He's still one of the most dangerous ball hawks in the league, and quarterbacks know they can't test him too often. On the other hand, if you overload him too quickly, you run the risk of fatigue, setbacks, or even re-injury. And the truth is, you can't afford to lose him long-term. The defense is already thinner than you'd like, and taking away Diggs would be catastrophic. The coaching staff now faces a balancing act. Do they rotate him more often, giving some reps to less experienced guys, even if it means exposing weak spots? Or do they gamble on riding Diggs heavy and hope his body holds up? That's not just a tactical question, it's a season-shaping decision. Because if you burn him out in September and October, you might not have him at 100% when December and January roll around. For you as a fan, the signs to watch will be in his snap counts and his body language on the field. Is he being rotated out on certain downs? Does he look fresh in the fourth quarter, or is fatigue showing? The Cowboys are going to need to be smart with how they use him, and frankly, this is where having a veteran insurance piece would help. Someone who can take 10 or 15 snaps a game to keep Diggs' legs fresh. So here's the question I've got for you. Should the Cowboys limit Diggs' snaps to protect his health or play him full throttle and deal with the risk later? Let me know in the comments with a simple limit or full throttle. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. We're pushing towards 16,000 subscribers, and every click helps keep this community strong. So let's talk solutions, because pointing out problems doesn't mean much unless you lay out a path forward. Right now, the Cowboys need to approach this with a mindset of urgency, not comfort. You can't afford to just hope the guys in-house will hold the line while waiting for Bland to come back. Hope is not a strategy in the NFL. The front office needs to think about making at least one veteran addition, even if it's short-term. A player like Stephon Gilmore wouldn't have to come in and play every down. He could simply be the insurance policy, the steady presence that covers you in case another injury strikes or if the young guys struggle. That's the type of roster move that pays off when you're still healthy enough to compete, but too thin to feel secure. At the same time, the coaching staff has to get creative. This is where reps in practice become gold. Give the backups more focused situational drills so that if they're thrown in mid-game, the moment doesn't overwhelm them. Rotate coverages to disguise the lack of experience, lean on safety help when needed, and don't be afraid to make adjustments on the fly. Smart game planning can cover up thin spots if everyone buys into their assignment. But beyond just the secondary, the Cowboys need to maximize what this defense already does well: pressure up front. If the pass rush is firing, it makes life a lot easier on the corners. That means Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and the rest of that front seven have to consistently disrupt quarterbacks, so the young corners aren't stuck in coverage for too long. It's all connected, and it's all about using your strengths to protect your weaknesses. The bigger picture here is simple. Stack wins now. The early schedule is the chance to build a cushion. If you start dropping winnable games because of roster thinness, you'll be scrambling later against elite competition, and history tells us that's not a formula for playoff success. The Cowboys have to think big, act bold, and avoid penny-pinching their way into a hole. So let me throw it to you. If you were in charge this week, what's the one roster, move, or coaching adjustment you'd make to secure the secondary? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading through them all. Would you rather the team sign a veteran insurance corner, ramp up reps for backups, or alter game plans to hide inexperience? Vote in the comments. Veteran, reps, or game plan. And if you're not part of the community yet, subscribe and help us get to 16,000 subscribers. Every subscription and like helps us keep you informed and gives us the energy to keep breaking this stuff down.